GameMaker Studio 2 uses its own programming language called GameMaker language, or GML. Now we're not going to be going into every single aspect of GML throughout this tutorial, but we'll just be using what we need to get our game done. However, if you have questions or want to explore further, I highly recommend you just check out the manual, which you can always find by going to Help, Open Manual. For now though, let's just start writing some very basic code and I'll walk you through a few simple things here. So in obj_player, make sure you're in your create event that we just created and go to any new line. You can always just hit enter or delete or backspace rather to make new lines or delete them like that, but just go ahead and start anywhere. And what we're going to do is create a list of what are called variables. I'll explain as we go, so just bear with me. I'm going to enter in / variables. Now, kind of like the description line up above, this line is called a comment line. It has 2 /, which means this isn't code, it's just a comment for us to keep track of things that we're writing. We'll be using this a lot, and you'll be doing this just to keep track of what you're doing and to give yourself little hints. So I'm just going to hit enter to make a new line, and I'm going to start putting in some variables. So let's put in walk speed equals 16. And I'm putting in a semicolon. Normally when you end a line, you use a semicolon. Sometimes GML can be pretty lenient about this, but we always recommend it. Now, the one thing you might see and get freaked out about is that you're noticing a little alert here on the left of your code. That's okay. It's just telling you that you've created a variable and you haven't used it yet. So GameMaker is letting you know in case, that's a bunch of code you don't actually need. We'll just continue making some other lines. So I'm just going to hit return to create a new line and enter vx equals 0, and then vy equals 0, and then dir equals 3. These are all things that we're going to use very soon, but we need them, so we might as well just put them in here. Move right equals 0, and I'm going to put some other direction code in here. Move left equals 0. Move up equals 0. Move down equals 0. So variables are used to store information. The information you store is called a value. So for instance, walk speed is a variable that we created, and 16 is its value. What does that mean? Right now that just doesn't mean anything because we haven't done anything with this, but we're just setting up some stuff that we'll do. There are many built-in variables in GameMaker Studio 2, but you can make your own, and that's what we're doing. These variables that are just sort of blue in my interface are just user-generated variables. You'll notice as we go along, you'll see other ones that are built-in ones, and they'll be colored differently depending on your color scheme, but it's a nice visual indicator to let you know what's going on. We can also assign many different kinds of values to variables. For instance, I could make something called my name equals 0, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, or I can call it my name equals Jimmy. This bit of text within quotation marks is called a string, and this, of course, is just a number. But these simple variables that we've got are all we're going to need to keep going. So just make sure everything looks like this, is spelled consistently, and is correct according to the way I've written it here, and we're good to go.